Welcome in the latest episode of 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Thanks for finding us on your favorite podcast app. We're also on Dash Radio, so download that app for free. Search for Nothing But Net. We're there every single day at 7 p.m. Also, check out the 5 Reasons YouTube channel, now over 11,000 subscribers as we speak. The post-game show on 5 hours going on with Royal Shepherd, the host. Also, an announcement. We've entered into a partnership with the Heat versus Haters Instagram account. They've got a pretty big following over there. They're going to be posting exclusively 5 Reasons sports content. So whether it's this podcast or anything we do on YouTube, Brady Hawk Stories, there's going to be a lot of stuff that goes up there on that account. You're also going to hear more from them on our platforms as well. So we've been trying to move more into the Instagram space, and we think this is going to be really good for our listeners, our viewers, our followers, and everybody else who has supported 5 Reasons. And also, I mentioned Brady Hawk. You can find his latest stories. He's now our lead Miami Heat writer. You can find his latest stories, including the latest takeaways from the Heat's latest win, up on 5reasonsports.com. Also, check out the great sponsors of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So many of our sponsors are local, including this major Miami brand. We're really excited to be partnering now with Miami Grill, especially at this time of year. This is a huge basketball time, so why don't you watch it with your favorite wings? Miami Grill's got you covered. Bring home a platter of your faves to share for the game tonight, tomorrow, NCAA tournament coming up. Just how you like them: crispy, grilled, naked, or boneless, and sauce of perfection with one of 3 new sauces. That's mango habanero, honey garlic, or Nashville hot. If you can't decide, get them all delivered with a catering order. There's more than just the wings to order for the whole fam with cheesesteaks, gyros, burgers, and more. Order online or in person. They're all over South Florida. Pick up, drive-through, dine-in, and delivery available at all locations. So visit mymiamigrill.com. That's mymiamigrill.com for more details. Miami Grill, if you're craving it, they're making it. And now, tonight's episode.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5
on the floor.
Welcome to 5 on the Floor, a daily show on the Miami Heat and the NBA featuring Ethan Skolnick with Alex Toledo and Greg Sylvander, part of the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
All right, Ethan Skolnick back on 5 on the Floor. I've got Greg Sylvander with me. The floor plan, look, every night, Greg and I, or when Alex is with us, we sort of go back and forth on our thread. What are we going to talk about tonight? And I feel like sometimes we get away from the obvious. We could talk about Tyler Hero tonight, who kind of had the game in some degree that Goran Dragic had in the last game, where he provided Jimmy Butler with enough help. And Tyler ended up with 22 points on 8 of 16 shooting, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, made up for the fact that really Kendrick Nunn was a no-show tonight. Some regression there, 1 of 9 from the field in 18 minutes. Duncan Robinson was 4 of 12 from 3, really nothing else from the bench. Goran Dragic, talk about regression from the last game, was 1 of 11 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3. So they needed Hero, but let's just be straight here. As good as Olynyk has been, as much as they've gotten a game here from Nunn or a game here from Hero or a game here from Dragic, this run is about Jimmy Butler, Greg. 29 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 steals, including the last possession when they needed it, which led to his layup, 10 of 17 from the floor, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, and a couple of blocks with, just get this, 1 turnover, plus 13 in a game that they won by 5. Greg, I don't know that we're ever going to see anybody do anything for the Heat like LeBron did during the 27-game winning streak, which I go back through that in the 2012-2013 season. That basically happened winter into spring. And Dwyane Wade's 2008-2009 stretch, what he did against Utah, some of those games in there against Chicago, he just went nuts. So, I mean, those two stretches just jump out at you. But as I said on Twitter, Jimmy Butler has entered the chat. This is what he's doing right now is in a lot of ways equivalent or better than what he did in the finals, because he has sustained this now for 3 weeks after having COVID.
Oh yeah. No,
it's insane. It's just insane, Greg.
So, I've been following this team since, I don't know, a shade ahead of 1990. And I've watched all the great scorers come through and all the great players come through and the guys that could take over games and what Jimmy's doing from a two-way perspective, because it's not just like the offensive stuff. He he's dominating on both ends. And like you said, like it's the last 3 weeks. When you really dig into the details here, like just for perspective, in the month of February, 14 games, up to 34 and a half minutes, 21 points a game on 44% shooting, and essentially 9 rebounds, 9 assists. And then we flip the calendar to March, and he's up to 28 points per game in the 3 games that we've played so far in March at 58% field goal shooting and still maintaining 9 assists. So it's like this situation where Jimmy is playing at the level that we saw him down the stretch in the bubble, closing out games in the playoffs all the way to the finals. He's sustained at that level. And I just think more and more it's pointing to, and I know that we're going to have lots of time to talk about a lot of different angles of this, but this existential question of what are we going to do? And Riley at the last deadline, he went all in on the Gallinari, Iguodala transaction. Like that was the transaction to go get it last year. And they went and got it anyway, but there's going to be a real question now about going and trying to do something similar, I think, real soon.
Yeah, no doubt. And we see this on Twitter. Get Jimmy some help. Get Jimmy some help. Get Jimmy some help. And of course, some of Jimmy's help is not there. Okay. From a defensive and playmaking standpoint, he doesn't have his sidekick, which is Bam Adebayo. Right. And that's one of the other things that's made this more remarkable. And remember at the beginning of the season, we were trying to figure out who was more valuable to this team. That has been settled. Okay. There's no question about that. Maybe it'll be Bam someday. Jimmy's not giving that up. Jimmy can talk not Bam now. Up all he wants. He's not giving it up right now. Okay. But it's like I said, Jimmy is better than the Heat thought he was by a wide margin. Now, I don't know necessarily that some of the things he's doing are out of the realm of what Spoelstra thought he could do, because I still point to Eric sitting down with us at that first Heat media day after Jimmy arrived and looking at us and saying, I think he can be a little bit like LeBron in the way he play makes. And really no coach has ever really thought of it. And I will say, Jimmy said to someone recently when he started going on this triple-double run, he's like, this triple-double thing is easy. He actually said that. He said, this is easy. He's like, I could do this every night. Now, I know Russell Westbrook went through one of those stretches, but here's the difference, okay? Russ doesn't defend like Jimmy.
No, and it's within the offense. Like, that's the other part of it, is that it's seamlessly fitting with all of the actions that Spo is trying to get to.
Absolutely. So it's like, this is just something that Jimmy does because Jimmy is like, there is no forcing it. In fact, I thought Jimmy's usage was going to be way out of control lately. And I looked at it. It's like 27 since he came back. I mean, that's high for him. It's elevated for his career, but it's pretty consistent to certain stretches in Minnesota, for instance. It's not crazy. It's not. Dwyane had some usage rates in the mid 30s while he was here. For people who don't understand, that's the percentage of possessions that a player is using. Russell Westbrook has been, and James Harden have been in the 40s at times. I mean, Jimmy's in the high 20s. It's like, just look at the last play of the game. That came because he had to pick up Terrence Ross, who, by the way, is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson combined against the Heat.
Can we trade for him already, please?
Well, 5 first-round picks. I called it before the game. If they can hold Terrence Ross under 25. What did he end up with?
I mean, they went and signed Olynyk because he used to kill Hassan over and over again every single game.
And Ellington.
Yeah, that's true.
What did Ross end up with? 31 on 10 of 13, 8 of 13 from 3. Vucevic, another guy we've talked about, had 38, 10, and 6. By the way, Vuce, if you're going to have a game like that, get me the 11 rebounds so I can win my prize picks using the code 5.
He's really good.
I mean, he's really good, but I was pissed off because he's hanging out at the 3-point line. I'm like, I need 11 rebounds from you. The 38 points are not helping me. He had 38 points in 38 minutes. I mean, they got 69 out of their 97 points from 2 players. Nobody else was in double figures, okay? And the Heat couldn't stop it until the last play. Well, the last 3 minutes where Jimmy picked up Ross, and the last play, and I wondered why it didn't happen earlier. And then Jimmy picked up Ross on the last play. Incredible defense, the steal, the leak out, the layup to finish. I mean, none of that is scripted. That's not Spo running stuff for Jimmy. That's just Jimmy creating stuff out of nowhere. And most of this is that. Like, they're not running like highly complicated actions. Like we talk about, you have to get Duncan open, right? You've got to get Duncan open. Now, Hero can do a little of it himself. Like, you're not doing anything for Jimmy. Like,
oh no,
he decides to get in the post. He decides to drive. He gets to the line. Like, they're running less stuff for Jimmy. And this is why we're going to have Steve Jones Jr. on this week, because I want to get into the specifics of their defense, but also how they're freeing Jimmy. Like, they're running less stuff for Jimmy than they ever ran for Bron. Like, I mean, the whole damn thing was created for. They're basically told Jimmy, go out there with Kelly Olynyk and make something happen. I mean, that's essentially what they're doing. It's unbelievable.
No, it's really true. And to see him embrace the playmaking role, and like you say, like do it with a patchwork of guys, and he props up any player that they put next to him. Like, I think that it was really underestimated how much better he made the players around him. That was something that before he arrived in Miami, I was not as attuned to with his game. And this is this dilemma though. And it always makes me think about those seasons before the Big Three era where Dwyane was at his absolute peak and we all knew it. And but we also knew about the summer of 2010, and we were always thinking about like there were like we romanticized the Lamar Odom in an off season. I think we might have flirted with Mo Williams with a mid-level exception, but ultimately it was never about those maximizing those peak years, because we were getting to like this 2010 thing. Well, I don't feel like that summer has really now became a thing. And I'm just, it's such an interesting dynamic to me about when he's this good. How do you not go all in? Like, and I don't know what all in means, and all in may be pretty close to what you have with a move here or there, but how do you not go all in for a guy this good?
No, it's true. But I mean, we're not going to say that anybody lied to him or cheated him, or because none of that's happened. Okay. Jimmy has been with them through every step of this process. I know that. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
And he is going to, if he's offered an extension by the Heat this offseason, which I'm anticipating is going to happen, he is going to sign it, and he's going to stay with the intention of finishing his career in Miami. So I just want to, if anybody thinks there's any friction or he's knocking at the door, they have to do something. I've made this point. Jimmy has actually been the one pulling them back on certain players. There's certain guys he likes playing with KO. Okay. He likes playing with KO. And whatever we think of it now, he wanted Myers Leonard re-signed. He wanted Goran Dragic re-signed.
Listen, he loves Tyler. He loves Tyler.
He's not pushing these guys out the door. Okay. So I don't. Now, would he accept the move? Are there certain guys? We have a conversation about Kyle Lowry, who is one of Jimmy's top 5 favorite players in the league. That's different. Okay. But are they trading Dragic for Lowry? I don't think so. Okay. He will work with them, and they're going to try to maximize this thing for them. They know what they have now. Okay. I don't think they knew what they had before. And I don't think that the burden of minutes is a lot on him. He's playing less minutes than he used to play. But it's just a question, like you said. I don't think he's going to break down from this because he's so well conditioned. I think he's 2 or 3 years away from us even having that conversation. The Tibbs minutes are overstated. He only played about 60-something games in most of those years. He didn't have deep playoff runs except twice. So I think that even with Minnesota, they got to the first round. Okay, I think that's overstated. But I agree with you in the sense that if you have a player playing at this level, that you try to give him as much help as you possibly can to maximize those years. Okay, now I think with Dwyane, again, looking back at it, if you were to say to Dwyane, hey, look, they suspended things basically for 2 years while you dominated the league. That 08-09 stretch was unbelievable. While you dominated the league, they gave you nothing but Michael Beasley and your buddy Quentin Richardson, okay, and the corpse of Jermaine O'Neal, okay? Didn't give you, and Sean Marion for a little while. They didn't give you anything to work with, but would you accept that for what you got after, okay? LeBron and Bosh, who carried, to a certain degree, let's be honest, okay, other than the 2011 finals, carried Dwyane during sort of that period of his career, the decline period of his career, okay, before he had a resurgence late. I think Dwyane would take it. Okay, I would love to ask him that question sometime. So Dwyane, the offer has been out there for 2 years.
I think he would take it too. He wouldn't change a thing. Come on now, it's all meant to be.
I think he would take it. Now with Jimmy, I think Jimmy embraces this challenge. He loves being the underdog. It's kind of like you're playing like 2K or Madden and you play on like the highest possible level because you just you want to see if you can overcome it. That's Jimmy. That's who he is. And I always said he's better playing, from behind than he is as a front runner. And so I think he's going to be okay with it. But it's an interesting conversation. All right, we don't have much time left. I want to look forward with you here a little bit. But before we do, I want to tell you about a couple of sponsors of the 5 Reasons Sports Network. One of them, I want to mention this one today because obviously the tournament brackets are coming out. If you haven't followed college basketball the whole year, you're probably going to start following now. We didn't have the tournament last year. Go to mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag. March is here and madness has officially begun. It's time for you to shoot your shot and score big on the nonstop action with MyBookie. So select the winners from 63 tournament games in the MyBookie bracket contest for a chance at 10 grand in cash prizes. It's only $1 to enter. It doesn't matter whether you're filling out multiple brackets, betting the national championship winner, or simply looking for player and game props. MyBookie has you covered. Sign up today at mybookie.ag. Use the promo code 5, that's FIVE, to secure a deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's the promo code 5, FIVE, to claim your first deposit bonus. College ball, NBA, and NHL, no matter the sport, no matter the minute, from tip-off to buzzer, MyBookie puts the action in your hands with in-game live betting. So it's mybookie.ag, the code 5. The other place I want you to go, because we're going to be doing more and more here, and they're adding the NBA platform shortly. Go to bstevr.com. That's bstevr.com. This is not betting. It's not going to cost you anything. They just do simulations. So if you ever wanted to settle an argument about anything in the NFL free agency, this week, we've got a big NFL free agency show on our YouTube channel. We're going to have an NFL free agency blitz on Wednesday, St. Patrick's Day, from 3:30 on, seeing where players are going. Simulate it on bstevr.com. That's for best ever. You can simulate what teams would look like with different players. It's a really cool platform, and we're going to be doing a lot with it on 5 Reasons Sports. So that's mybookie.ag, use the code 5, and bstevr.com. All right, let's get to where they go now. Another soft game coming up against Cleveland. They've had just enough. I will say this, okay? For as bad as they've looked in stretches of games and the droughts they've gone through, maybe it's just because of Jimmy. And knowing you're going to get either Hero or Dragic or Robinson, you're going to get one guy, okay, or none at the end. There's a certain calm with this team now. Like you feel like they're going to win. I feel like we went through a long stretch where you felt like they were going to lose, right? Yeah. Is that just because the defense is keeping them in these games? Is that why? Is it mostly Jimmy? What is it? Because it's definitely changed. Like you and I were having these text strings during games like they're going to blow this. Like even when they were up 20, and now it's like, okay, this is what we're going to talk about after they win. It's different now.
Yeah, no, they've regained control. It's something related to, I think, that they found their identity, and it comes on the defensive end. And that's really what they're going to key in on going forward. And then when you have Jimmy back in the lineup who can manufacture offense, whether it be for himself or others, in the way that he's doing, and he's just playing so good that when you have this mix of team defense playing at the level that you have it, and then individual efforts, Kelly Olynyk, like give the dude his flowers. Buddy is playing really, really good. Been great. Multiple games now in Bam Adebayo's absence. So I think that, this is a situation where now, if you look ahead, they've got Cleveland, Memphis, Indy twice before the trade deadline. I mean, it's not inconceivable that, let's just say they win 3 out of 4 there. That will essentially have meant that, they've only lost 3 games in the last 3 weeks. It would be a situation where it's going to make it interesting to see just how much on the margins they look on the transactions perspective.
Yeah, no doubt. And we're going to have a lot on that going forward. Obviously this is a Cleveland game. There's going to be somebody we've never heard of has gone off. Although they are starting to get some guys back. Love Larry Nance, somebody we haven't talked about a lot. Could be a little bit of an audition game here coming up. That's a player that the Heat have looked at this season. I know there, again, additional reports today. We talked about this on Before Floor, something, Greg, that you threw at us the other day on Floor's Yours. We have all these different shows. I know it's hard to keep track of these days, but you tweeted it out that the Heat have sort of looked at the possibility of Avery Bradley in a trade for LaMarcus Aldridge. I was watching some of that Spurs game today, and Aldridge, of course, is not playing, but Rudy Gay is coming off the bench. Spurs played the Sixers tonight, no Embiid tonight. And obviously, And I don't know how Pop thinks he's keeping that team in the mix this year. I mean, they got blown off the floor tonight, and they got some nice young players, but Philly was really shorthanded and won by 40. I think the Spurs, I wouldn't be surprised.
Pack it in.
Yeah, I think they're going to pack it in and make a move. They can't. He's done an incredible job with that team, but that's not a playoff team in the West this year.
Toronto too. I feel like they're slipping fast.
Yeah, Toronto and San Antonio. I mean, I know you have to play in this year, but listen, Greg Popovich, and I know last year that the Spurs, played hard, in the bubble, and Pop enjoyed the experience and everything. But those two organizations, Toronto and San Antonio, have been two of the most stable professional organizations other than the Heat in recent years. They don't play for play-in tournaments. They don't, okay? And I know that they try to stay competitive like the Heat do, but they know what good basketball looks like, and neither of those two teams, I think, is making any quote-unquote noise this year. I think the Raptors and the Spurs could be big sellers here coming up in the next 2 weeks. I think that's where we're headed to, and the Heat are not at 21-18. I mean, they win this game, next game against Cleveland, they would be essentially on what was like a 45 win pace for a regular season. I know that's not what people were looking for, but considering the circumstances, it ain't bad. All right, check out Miami Grill for sure. Get the wings for the tournament, bet the tournament, and mybookie.ag using the code 5. And of course, NFL free agency coming up. Use bstevr.com. Alex, back tomorrow. Have a good night.
Thank you for listening to the Five on the Floor on the Five Regional Sports Network.